Have you ever stopped to wonder if the waiting, the loneliness, and even the silent prayers that seem unanswered are actually shaping you for the person God has chosen for your life? We often think finding a soulmate is about searching, chasing, or hoping for luck to fall our way. But what if it's not about chance at all? What if the process of finding love begins long before you meet the other person? What if it begins within you? C.S. Lewis believed that love is not discovered by accident, it is revealed to those who are ready to receive it. And readiness does not start with meeting the right person. It begins with becoming the right person. The truth is, your soul is being refined every single day. Every trial, every heartbreak, every disappointment has been carving away pieces of your old self and making room for something greater. It might not feel like it now, but you are being shaped. Life is chiseling away pride, fear, insecurity, and selfishness. Slowly, what remains is a version of you that can love more deeply, forgive more quickly, and trust more fully. That is the person God is preparing to meet another soul who has also been walking through their own refining. And when two refined hearts come together, love becomes something unshakable. Think about it. If love were simply about compatibility or chemistry, wouldn't it be fragile? Chemistry fades. Compatibility shifts as people change. But a love built on refinement is anchored in something eternal. It has depth. It has weight. It has a foundation that storms cannot destroy. Lewis understood this. He believed that God does not just give us what we want, He prepares us for what we are meant to carry. And love, the kind that changes your life, is a weight you must be strong enough to hold. This is why you cannot despise the waiting season. Waiting is not punishment. Waiting is not God withholding something good from you. Waiting is where God works most powerfully. The person you are becoming in this very moment is the person who will one day be able to love with a purity and intensity that ordinary relationships cannot match. Waiting is God's training ground. It strips away impatience, polishes endurance, and builds in you the kind of resilience that great love requires. Psychology affirms this truth. People who endure hardship often develop empathy, compassion, and emotional depth that others never reach. Those very qualities become the glue that holds relationships together when feelings grow weary. So every difficult moment, every night you've asked, "Why not now?" has been teaching you something priceless. It's not wasted. It's not meaningless. It's forming in you the heart that can recognize and sustain a soulmate connection when it finally arrives. You may feel behind. You may see others moving forward in relationships while you are left waiting in silence. But silence is not abandonment, it's sacred preparation. Think of how gold is refined in fire. It must be melted, purified, and reshaped before it shines. That is exactly what is happening inside of you. The loneliness you feel now is not a void. It is an invitation to grow, to heal, and to rise into the fullness of who you were created to be. C.S. Lewis wrote that love is not about finding someone flawless, but about becoming someone who can love a flawed person in a divine way. That is the secret. A soulmate is not someone who will erase your problems, heal your wounds, or rescue you from emptiness. A soulmate is someone who joins you in the journey of becoming, and that kind of relationship requires two hearts that have been prepared, tested, and refined by God Himself. So do not despise the fire. Do not curse the waiting. Do not believe the lie that you are forgotten. Every single moment is carving you into the person who will be able to stand in front of another soul and love them with patience, with strength, and with grace. This is not ordinary love you are being prepared for. It is something sacred, something enduring, something that carries the fingerprints of God. And this is why you must hold on. Because when the refining is complete, when the preparation has done its work, the love that enters your life will not be fragile or fleeting. It will feel as though everything you endured was leading you to this moment. You will see that the waiting was never wasted, the pain was never pointless, and the silence was never empty. Every step was a part of the refining that made you ready to recognize, cherish, and sustain the person chosen for you. That is the reward of trust, that is the beauty of patience, and that is why you cannot give up now, because the refining of your soul is not just about shaping you, it is about preparing you for a love that will change everything. Desire is one of the deepest forces within you. It is the ache that will not go away, the longing that whispers there must be more, the quiet pull toward a love that feels bigger than anything you have known. Too often we are taught to suppress desire, to see it as weakness, to treat it as a distraction. But C.S. Lewis saw something different. He believed desire is not an enemy, it is a signal. It points to something real, something designed, something greater than this world. The longing in your heart for love is not proof that you are broken. It is proof that you were made for connection that reflects something eternal. Desire is the compass God places inside you. It does not point you to random people or fleeting passions. It points you toward a destiny that has already been written. The longing for a soulmate is not just about wanting someone to share life with. It is about wanting to encounter a love that calls out the best in you, a love that mirrors the way God loves. This is why you feel restless when you settle for less. This is why shallow relationships never satisfy for long. Your soul knows the difference between something temporary and something eternal, and that knowing, that hunger, is the evidence that you are being led toward something greater. You see, desire awakens awareness. It opens your eyes to what is missing, not to torment you, but to prepare you. Without desire, you would not search, you would not grow, you would not rise. It is desire that makes you notice the hollowness of surface-level love. It is desire that makes you crave authenticity. It is desire that fuels the hope that there is someone out there whose soul has been shaped to meet yours. This longing is not a weakness. It is your inner guide, pushing you to wait for what is real and not to settle for what is easy. Psychologists often say that desire reveals values. The things you want most reflect the things you care about most. That means your longing for deep, unconditional love is not random. It reveals the core of your spirit. It shows that your heart was built to value loyalty, sacrifice, trust, and growth. The more you recognize this, the clearer your vision becomes. You begin to see which connections align with your true desires and which only waste your time. Desire is what filters the noise, so that when the right person arrives, your soul will recognize them instantly. But here is the challenge. Many people let desire turn into desperation. They rush, they force, they cling to anyone who gives temporary comfort. That is not what God intended. Desire is meant to awaken you, not enslave you. When you turn longing into desperation, you end up binding yourself to people who were never meant to carry your heart. You confuse proximity with purpose, attention with love, attraction with destiny. That is why so many hearts break, not because desire was wrong, but because it was misdirected. C.S. Lewis understood that our deepest desires are echoes of heaven. They point us to something beyond this earth, something bigger than we can see. When you feel that pull in your heart, it is not meant to crush you. It is meant to remind you that God has planted within you the hunger for a love that reflects His own. The soulmate you are waiting for is not just someone to fill your loneliness. They are someone designed to awaken your soul to higher love, to sharpen your faith, to call out your purpose. And the desire you feel is the constant reminder not to settle until you find it. So, instead of running from your desire, lean into it. Instead of silencing it, listen to what it is teaching you. Your longing is showing you the kind of love you were created for. It is reminding you that ordinary will never be enough for your extraordinary soul. It is calling you to rise above the noise of counterfeit relationships and hold out for what is real. When you embrace desire as a compass, not a curse, it gives you strength to wait. It reminds you that every moment of yearning is not wasted. It is shaping your vision for the one God has chosen. Do not mistake the ache in your heart as emptiness. See it as preparation. Do not confuse longing with lack. See it as evidence of promise. The presence of desire means the presence of destiny. And when you understand this, you stop treating your waiting as weakness. You start treating it as alignment. Every heartbeat that yearns for real love is proof that you are on the path toward the soulmate God has chosen for you. And when that moment comes, when your desire collides with destiny, the waiting will no longer matter. The longing will make sense. The hunger will be satisfied. You will see that the very thing that once made you restless was the very thing that kept you from settling for less. Desire was not meant to torment you. It was meant to prepare you for the love that will awaken your soul. Pain has a way of stripping away illusions. It comes uninvited, it cuts deep, and it leaves you with questions that echo in the silence of the night. Yet pain is never without purpose. C.S. Lewis once wrote that pain is God's megaphone, a way of waking us when we have drifted into comfort or distraction. When it comes to love, pain is not a punishment but a teacher. It refines, it clarifies, and it exposes what you truly need versus what you thought you wanted. Every heartbreak you've endured has been shaping you, even when it felt like it was breaking you. There are moments when rejection feels unbearable, when loss feels like a cruel end, when betrayal shatters the trust you thought was unshakable. But in that breaking, something else happens. The false images you held onto begin to crumble. The illusions of shallow love, of temporary attraction, of relationships built on convenience rather than commitment, they all fall away. Pain burns through the surface and leaves behind only what is real. It shows you that you were made for more than empty promises and fragile connections. It awakens a deeper hunger for the kind of love that will not collapse under pressure. Psychology tells us that pain can either harden the heart or expand it. Those who resist its lessons grow bitter, closing themselves off from the possibility of love. But those who face their pain with courage discover a hidden strength. They become more empathetic, more discerning, more resilient. This is the paradox. The very wounds that hurt you can make you capable of greater love. Your scars are not signs of weakness, they are proof that you have survived what could have destroyed you. And in that survival, you gained wisdom. You learned how to tell the difference between someone who flatters you and someone who values you, between someone who entertains your loneliness and someone who truly sees your soul. Pain refines your standards. After heartbreak, you begin to see what truly matters. You no longer crave attention for its own sake, you crave consistency. You no longer chase appearances, you value authenticity. You no longer settle for someone who simply says they love you, you wait for someone who shows it in sacrifice and action. This shift is not accidental, it is the fruit of pain's teaching, and it is precisely this refinement that prepares you for the person God has chosen. Without those lessons, you might overlook them or fail to recognize the depth of their love. It is tempting to see loss as a detour, but what if it is part of the design? What if the people who left were never meant to stay? What if their exit created space for someone far more aligned with your destiny? Pain feels final, but in truth, it is often a doorway that leads you out of what was never meant for you and ushers you toward what was written for you all along. And though you may grieve what is gone, you will one day see that the ending was necessary for the beginning that is to come. Think about the strength that comes from enduring heartbreak. That strength is not wasted. It is the very foundation upon which lasting love can be built. A relationship chosen by God requires endurance, patience, and the ability to weather storms. Pain is the training ground for all of these qualities. Without it, love might remain shallow. With it, love gains depth. With it, you are able to look at another human soul, broken and imperfect, and love them not in spite of their scars, but through them. That is the kind of love that lasts. Lewis understood that love was not meant to shield us from suffering, but to transform it. The one God chooses for you will not erase your past wounds, but they will honor them. They will not heal every scar, but they will walk beside you as you carry them. And in that shared journey, you will discover that your pain has given you eyes to see each other more clearly, more tenderly, more truthfully. What once felt like loss will become the very thing that allows you to cherish what you now have. So do not curse the pain you have known. Do not see it as wasted years or broken chances. Every tear watered the soil of your soul. Every disappointment tilled the ground, preparing it for a love with roots strong enough to endure. Pain did not disqualify you, it qualified you. It gave you the strength to receive a love that is deeper than fleeting attraction, stronger than temporary passion, and more enduring than circumstance. And when that love finally arrives, you will understand why the journey had to be so hard. You will look back and realize that what once felt like destruction was actually construction, that what once seemed like a wound was actually wisdom, that every loss was carving space for the person who was always meant to find you. The pain that once broke you will become the very proof that you are ready for a love that cannot be broken. Timing is one of the greatest mysteries in life. We plan, we hope, we set our own schedules, yet love often comes in ways and moments that defy our control. C.S. Lewis believed that nothing truly important is random, and this truth extends even to the moment you meet your soulmate. What feels delayed is never denied, it is orchestrated. The pauses, the detours, the seasons of waiting are not signs of neglect. They are signs of precision. God is aligning circumstances, preparing hearts, and weaving together a story so intricate that only hindsight will reveal its perfection. There is a frustration that builds when time seems to stretch longer than you expected. You look around and see others moving forward, and doubt creeps in. Maybe you missed your chance, maybe you are too late, maybe God has overlooked you. But time in God's hands is never wasted. What feels like slowness is actually protection. A premature connection can destroy what was meant to bless you. An early introduction, before the refining was complete, can turn a divine relationship into a fractured one. Timing is not about convenience, it is about readiness. Psychologists know that readiness shapes relationships. Meeting the right person at the wrong time often leads to collapse. Emotional maturity, personal stability, and spiritual growth all determine how deeply two people can bond. This is why the waiting matters. Without the patience of timing, even the right person can feel wrong. Timing ensures that when two paths finally converge, both hearts are steady enough to recognize and sustain what is given. Love that arrives too soon can burn out, but love that arrives on time has the strength to endure. Think of how the seasons work. Winter prepares the soil, spring awakens growth, summer matures it, and autumn brings the harvest. Each season has a purpose, and none can be rushed without harming the outcome. The same is true in love. God is not slow, he is seasonal. He is moving you through winters of quiet, springs of new beginnings, summers of growth, and autumns of reaping. Each stage feels different, but every stage is necessary. The one you are waiting for is also moving through their seasons, and when the time is right, both of your seasons will align. This is why trust is so powerful. Trust shifts your focus from fear of delay to confidence in design. Trust reminds you that unseen things are unfolding on your behalf. Trust allows you to walk forward without grasping, without settling, without giving up. And when you trust, you stop measuring your life against others. You stop resenting the calendar. You stop believing you are behind. You realize that your story is not running late, it is right on schedule. Lewis believed that divine timing is not just about when you meet your soulmate, but also about who you are becoming along the way. The journey prepares you as much as the destination fulfills you. The solitude that once felt unbearable becomes the space where you discovered your worth. The delays that once tested your patience become the moments where you built resilience. And all of it ensures that when love finally arrives, you are not only ready to receive it, you are ready to protect it. It is easy to doubt timing when all you feel is silence, but silence is not absence. Silence is the pause before the symphony begins. It is the unseen movement of threads weaving a tapestry so much larger than your view. At the right time, the right door will open, the right path will cross, and the right person will step into your life with a clarity that makes every year of waiting feel worth it. Imagine what it will feel like to look into the eyes of the one God has chosen and realize that every delay was part of the plan. The waiting will no longer feel like loss. It will feel like preparation. The unanswered prayers will no longer feel like silence. They will feel like strategy, and the timing you once questioned will reveal itself as perfect, precise, and beyond anything you could have written for yourself. Do not let impatience steal what timing is protecting. Do not rush what requires maturity. Do not trade a destiny for a distraction because you grew tired of waiting. Hold on, because timing is working for you, not against you. And when it is right, nothing can stand in the way. The love that enters your life will not be fragile, because it was not born out of haste, it was born out of alignment. When the appointed moment comes, you will see that timing was never your enemy. It was your ally. It was guarding your heart, preparing your spirit, and aligning your life for the arrival of someone who was being prepared for you, just as much as you were being prepared for them. And that realization will fill you with a peace so profound that you will thank God for every delay, every detour, and every silent season, because it was timing that carried you into the love that was always meant to be yours. Love is never just about two people, it is about something greater being revealed through them. C.S. Lewis often spoke of how human love, when rightly ordered, points beyond itself. It is not an end but a mirror, reflecting a higher reality. When God chooses your soulmate, He is not merely giving you companionship for life. He is giving you a partner who helps you glimpse His love in a tangible way. This is why the love that comes from Him feels different. It is not shallow, not fleeting, not built on fragile desire. It carries weight, purpose, and eternity in its very essence. The person meant for you is not chosen simply to make you happy, but to make you whole in ways you could not achieve alone. Their presence doesn't just fill your heart, it awakens your soul. They push you closer to God, closer to your true calling, closer to the person you were always meant to become. And when two people live in that kind of union, love becomes more than emotion, it becomes transformation. It becomes a sacred fire that purifies, strengthens, and lights the way forward. Every human relationship will face storms, feelings will fluctuate, circumstances will shift, and trials will test the foundation. But the love that is divinely chosen has a strength beyond human ability. It doesn't depend solely on attraction, nor is it held together by convenience. It is anchored in something eternal, rooted in something that does not change. And when the storms come, as they always do, this love does not shatter. It deepens, it matures. It becomes more beautiful, more resilient, more unshakable. Lewis wrote that true love is not merely about being loved, but about loving rightly. It requires sacrifice, patience, humility, and the willingness to serve another person, even when it costs you something. That is why God's choice for you will not just excite you, they will challenge you. They will call you out of selfishness, pull you away from smallness, and invite you into the kind of love that expands your heart to its fullest capacity. And in that stretching, you discover something profound. Love is less about what you receive and more about who you become by giving. Psychology echoes this truth. Research shows that relationships grounded in shared values, mutual respect, and deep commitment outlast those based only on chemistry or passion. Lust fades, infatuation cools, but values endure. When God chooses your soulmate, He aligns them with your deepest values and highest purpose. That alignment creates stability because no matter what challenges come, you move in the same direction. You fight for the same future. You hold on to the same vision. This shared mission becomes the glue that binds you together when emotions fluctuate. And yet, this kind of love is not mechanical or cold. It is alive, vibrant, and overflowing with joy. It is the laughter that lightens your days, the comfort that steadies your nights, the hand that holds yours when the world feels heavy. It is love that feels both safe and daring, familiar and awe-inspiring, ordinary in the daily moments, yet extraordinary in its depth. It is a love that humbles you because you know it could not have been crafted by your own hands. It is a gift, pure and undeserved, and it fills you with gratitude every time you realize it is real. When you step into this higher love, you begin to see that it was never just about finding someone to complete you. You were already whole in God's eyes. It was about finding someone who would walk beside you, not as a crutch, but as a partner. Someone who doesn't replace God in your life, but reflects Him more clearly. Someone who doesn't distract you from your calling, but amplifies it. And together, the love you share becomes a testimony, a light that shows others what is possible when God is at the center of a relationship. This is the kind of love that inspires action, because it makes you want to protect it, nurture it, and grow it. It makes you want to become a better person, not out of pressure, but out of devotion. It makes you want to forgive quickly, to speak kindly, to fight less for pride and more for unity. It changes the way you see yourself, because being loved rightly reveals parts of your worth you once doubted. It changes the way you see the world, because walking in partnership gives you new strength to face challenges. And most of all, it changes the way you see God, because you realize His fingerprints are all over the love you've been given. When this love enters your life, you will understand why you had to wait, why you had to endure, why you had to grow. You will see that it was not just about meeting someone, it was about becoming the kind of person who could carry such a love. And as you live it out, day after day, you will know that this was never random, never accidental. It was chosen, divinely written, and perfectly timed. The greatest reward of all is not just finding your soul mate, it is discovering the depth of love God intended you to experience through them. A love that endures when the world shakes, a love that reflects the eternal, a love that awakens your soul and calls you higher. And when you finally embrace it, you will realize that everything, every delay, every heartbreak, every silent season was leading you here, to the love that was always meant to be yours.